All right, got the live chat going. Thank you for everyone that's here already. Um, I'm like 15 minutes late, 13 minutes late. Um, it was just interesting. I had to download a plugin, which was unexpected, but fortunately, I was able to figure it out, which is super cool. Um, yeah, I wanna have a good live chat, guys. Literally, the intentions with this live chat is just connect with you guys. Just if there's any way I could bring value to you with the experience I have in the certain fields that I do, the health, the veganism, the cycling, the other endurance sports, you know, living your dream life essentially, moving out to Hawaii, um, working from home, having an online business, stuff like that. Let's talk about that stuff. Hello from Germany. Aloha. How are you? What's your FTP? All right, let's get right into it. Well, I don't know what my FTP is right now, but I'll just say my best ever FTP, and that was about 333 watts. I did 352 watts for 20 minutes and then converted 95% of that is 333. Hello. Hello from Hawaii, Minimalist Living. Thanks for coming in. Glycogen cycling. Why are you laughing? That's a good FTP, man. Um, yeah. So I'm back in Hawaii. Been here for now about 4 days after a huge month of travel. I went to Canada, got deported, went to LA to visit my friend Katie, flew to Chicago, saw my parents for like half a day, and then drove out to upstate New York with my friend Sam. Then got to the Woodstock Fruit Festival. It was lit. The Woodstock Fruit Festival it was a great year for me. It was probably one of my favorite years I've ever had. And then after Woodstock, it was to New York City, and then and then flew back to Chicago to hang out with my parents for like 6 days, and now I'm back in Hawaii. So a lot of travel, so much flying. I've never done so much flying in a 1 month window like that. I'm like good for the rest of the year. I just want to chill and be at home. Um, not laughing at your FTV, just your initial response. You were in Chicago, bro. We could have gone on a ride. I know, dude. There's so many people that are from Chicago. I got another person was asking me to go riding, and I simply just did not have enough time. Like, just trying to hang out with everyone. Um, but yeah, it feels good to be back in Hawaii. I've been here for like 4 days, and the first 3 days I was just like off my. I don't know, man. I was just on such a high. I was just so happy to be here. Like, I truly love it here. Um, it feels like home. It doesn't feel like home for many people who move here, but for me, it's just it's an introverted lifestyle. You don't have a lot of friends. You're a foreigner. You're a haole. So it's a really great time for like personal growth and introspection and working on your online business and stuff like that. But if you're coming for like to hang out, have a good time, like a week or 2 weeks is good. But like living here long term to have fun, you could probably still have a freaking great time here. I don't know. But yeah, it's just isolated. It's kind of hard to find people to hang out with, from my experience. Especially like the people you're excited to hang out with. There's ton. There's vegans here for sure, here in Hilo, there in Kona, but I don't necessarily hang out with people based on their diet preferences or what they eat. I like to hang out with people that are cool and that I don't know. I just can relate to on different levels. Hey Alexander, what's up? Yeah, and I was thinking like about Hawaii, like, oh hey Nancy, love watching you, love you, love you for gosh. Um, yeah, one thing I've been thinking about, I did like a little Skype call. I did a podcast with this like pro triathlete Anton, and I felt like his purpose interviewing me was to kind of get some tips on how to move out to Hawaii and stuff like that. And I felt like I gave the complete opposite advice and be like, you shouldn't move here, or you should only move here for these circumstances. And it always like goes through my head, and I'm trying to like make sure I'm not coming from a selfish place or a place of ego, like where I just don't want anyone to move here. Um, you know, one thing is that I feel a little bit guilty sometimes living here because this is the Hawaiian people's land. And in the past, people who are more wealthy, more rich, coming from the mainland with lots of money, move here, build a house, drive up the value of everything here in Hawaii, and then the Hawaiians can't really, don't have the same skills as the mainlanders, or don't have like, or there's just not simply any jobs like corporate jobs where they can make enough money, and then they get pushed out of their land and move to the mainland and stuff. So I always feel guilty and hesitant about inviting tons of people here, and at the same time, it makes it special when there's less foreigners. But it's real hypocritical for me to say because I've moved here and I'm in love with it. Um, but if there was a tip I could give of moving somewhere where you like to live, is of course visit for a week or two, and moving to Hawaii is just like moving to anywhere else. You need to find a place to live. You need to find a job. So for me personally, um, I would try to do as much homework as I possibly can before moving to a place and checking probably getting an Airbnb, like booking an Airbnb in advance, 1 to 2 weeks. 1 to 2 weeks, be living there. Make sure you have enough money to like sustain yourself and have enough of a window to get a job. And once you get there, then you just start looking for a place long term. Um, whether that's just like going to apartment or room showings or checking on Craigslist or going to local real estate agents and just finding a place to live long term, and then scoring that job and scoring that place as soon as you can with the amount of money you have, to give you enough breathing room till you get to that point. Okay, let's answer some questions. What are all of your online businesses besides YouTube, Patreon, etc.? I'm trying to build up my business. Yeah, so cycling coaching is a big, yeah, it's a part where some of my income comes from. It's lovetheclimbcoaching.com. I coach cyclists. Like, I'm a coach through Training Peaks. I have a subscription with them where I get access to training calendars and a way for me to like fill in an athlete's calendars of what they do in a week to work out. And you don't necessarily have to be a cyclist. Like, I train people who just want to get fit. So I create training plans, go with Skype calls, and try to motivate and empower athletes. So it's a big thing I do that brings in most of my income, I would say. Greetings from Turkey. Hi. Hello from Japan. Hi. Hello. Do you still have your rubber chicken and space helmet for sale? No. I don't know what you're talking about. How you doing? I'm doing really good. Really good. I'm really focused today. You know, the past 8 months have been kind of a struggle. It's been hard for me to be productive with the YouTube channel you guys have obviously seen. And today I feel focused. I feel like I'm gonna edit a video today. um, love to see Hawaii. It looks so pretty and beautiful. Yeah, Hawaii is just up there, man. Small, but quality within, you know, the land that exists here in the Hawaii Islands are just beautiful. Beautiful lands, beautiful mountains, valleys, volcanoes, rivers, waterfalls, beaches, tropical rainforest, all the good stuff. At the bottom of my garden lives a family of very nasty, vicious badgers. Mike, you're fucking trolling me. Where are you staying at the moment? I'm staying in a house in Hilo. I'm living with 3 other friends. They're all, well, right now they're not all vegan. One of my roommates just went off the vegan wagon, but in October, all vegan house. Glycogen cycling. How do you find athletes, people to coach? YouTube's a wonderful place. I try to create cycling specific content, and it brings in a cycling audience, and it has their attention, right? So anytime you're trying to find athletes or market something, you want to get their attention first. And YouTube's a really great way of marketing and of getting people's attention to then, you know, offer them a service. Makes sense. Yes. Yeah, YouTube's really awesome. That's where I've gotten most of my clients from is on YouTube. A little bit on Instagram. A lot can happen in direct messaging. Like a lot of things can happen in direct messaging. I recommend like responding to comments, responding to messages. It's always good to build a relationship and trust with people before they want to like, purchase a product or get involved in one of your services. Building up my channel, would love to coach someday. Yeah, right on, man. Right on. Yeah, I wish you the best of luck. I hope I passed on some good information to you. Yeah, I think one important thing is kind of like even get this for myself because I make YouTube videos so much for myself, but I think the best way we could succeed with any product or service or YouTube video you want to create or offer is that you got to understand that you're doing this for other people and it's really it is for you like the bonuses of working from a computer earning money it's just a bonus but literally like the way you succeed is you just try to give as much as you can to possibly as much as you can to people and that's what I'm always trying to work on. So when you're building up your channel, you want to be a cycling coach. I see a lot of people making videos with wanting the outcome of being able to shout something out or promote something, and you can taste that. So I'm always just trying to create really awesome content, and then just have the opportunity to ask for you know just ask people if they want a coaching service. So it's important to bring value first and foremost. Like Gary Vaynerchuk says, like you're a media company more so than a business. Like if you're a business, you're a media company, and you got to produce great content, um, and hopefully people want to support you in return. Yep, I respond to all my comments and messages. I love collaborating with people. That's awesome, man. That's great that you respond to comments and messages, and collaborating with people certainly grows your channel. Certainly. I'm sick of social media. Lol. I only have YouTube now. Yeah, social media is crazy. Just my life, but it's good fun. Yay! So happy I made it. Yes, Elise, thank you so much for coming. What else do I have on my mind right now? You guys can maybe pinpoint it, but feel free to ask more questions. Um, yeah, I don't know how many athletes there are on here, but I went for a bike ride this morning. I've been carbing up. I've been eating like cooked food meals, basically breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's kind of something I haven't done in a long time, right? I've been eating fully raw or raw till four literally for the past 6 years. And one thing I'm noticing is that there's a hell of a lot less bloating when you don't concentrate all the cooked food calories into one meal. So I'm like splitting up the calories between 3 meals and it feels a lot more normal. Like there's less of, binging and purging tendencies like binge eating and then like trying to fast to like get rid of the bloated belly. Like being consistent with your meals, I think is good. And it's also like leaning me out and it's like, I feel sharp. I don't feel like soft or anything like that. I feel lean. Yeah, so yeah, my dad's like basically cooked high carb vegan food. Um, yeah, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What do you do for work now? I still am a cycling coach and I create YouTube videos and I have some services I offer on Patreon. This is kind of a live chat from Patreon. It's one of the rewards I offer, but I open it to the public because no one shows up. People tend to like to like. It seems to me like maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like the people who support you on Patreon they just want to support you for the things you do on YouTube, not necessarily the services. So not a lot of people show up, so I open this live chat to the public. So this is a lot funner, and then I'll just save this content and give it to them when they want to watch it. Um, yeah, love your positive vibes on Insta stories every morning. Currently reading The Power of Now. Dude, yeah, I've been going hard on the Insta stories. I feel like I've been putting out some really, really good stuff there. I hope everyone's on there. If you're ever like, oh, I wish Geeta's created more vlogs, etc., just go to the Instagram story. It's kind of like, a little bit lower quality stuff, in regards to like visual, but the things I say on there, I feel like are really powerful. I've never tried raw. I feel like it's super hard for athletes. Yeah, it can be very hard for athletes. It's a fuck ton of volume. It's a lot of food to eat. Not only is it time consuming, um, but sometimes that volume of food. Well, I can't really say this. I don't know what the rates different foods digest. If you got 500 calories of bananas versus 500 calories of cashews, people tend to say that the nuts digest slower than the fruit. But I gotta learn that stuff. So this is what I strive to do and be, and I recommend it for everyone else. Like, just because you heard someone say something about health or fitness, like, don't necessarily feel, and it feels like from a credible person, don't necessarily feel like it's the right answer. Like, always question it. So it's like right there, like I caught myself. Like, try to have that self awareness that you're not coming from just dogma or wanting to preach or you know just regurgitate what someone else said. Like, always like do the research yourself. Like, go on Google, search up the studies about what digests quicker, cashews or bananas, same amount of calories, and then that's what I gotta do. So I don't know. So I hope that helps. So how long have you been working your own businesses? Do you have a job previously? Yeah, so I quit my day job about 3 months ago. I was working for a small startup business selling raw vegan foods. I used to be a chef. That was my dream when I was 18 and ended up getting to that level. And I quit my job about 3 months ago doing that, and now I just work from home, online, um, and cycle coach people. It's super sweet. Um, so yeah, I hope that answers the question. It's just been literally like 3 months. Just made it happen. Coming to Oahu for any races next year. Colin, my man. So cool to see you on this live chat. Coming to Oahu. Well, if I don't crash in the Dick Evans Memorial Race, then yeah, I would come. But no, I'm just kidding. I want to come and do that race. If I don't do Cycle of the Sun, maybe I'd come over for Dick Evans. Hey Gitas, ever considered long touring rides? I've done them in the past. I've done some nothing crazy. I've done some 300-mile treks. Maybe I should say 500-mile treks round trip. I was kind of like just still a beginner cyclist, and I I want to do this ride before the end of the year. It was kind of my goals. It was this like Facebook group, Cycling Goals 2018. One of my goals, which I think I actually can do aside from all the other goals that I haven't been able to accomplish. I want to ride around the whole Big Island in one day, just the perimeter around it. And it's probably about 250 miles in one day. I want to do that. Really want to do that. Are you going to do any hiking vids, island views, etc.? Hiking vids. I don't do much hiking. I don't plan to do any hiking vids. But if I'm in the position, I'll consider it since you mention it. Um, yeah. What else can I talk about? We'll leave the light on for you. I'll come do that perimeter ride with you on Big Island. Are you serious, bro? You want to ride around the whole Big Island with me, Colin? That'd be so dope. Dude, please. Hit me up on Facebook and tell me when you want to come. I'll be ready. We'll totally ride the whole Big Island in one day with you. All right. Well, we got another person. So hit me up on Facebook and Instagram. Tell me what day you want to come before this year ends, and I'll connect with Colin as well. Maybe we can make it happen. Just wanted to say hello. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it. Hi. How are you? Um, yeah. So this 250-mile ride would be the longest ride I've ever done. I've done a 200-mile ride in one day. That was in Thailand to this epic mountain, Doyoung Kong, and I feel like doing a 250 mile or any kind of ride, you know, going up to 200 kilometers to 200 miles. As long as you have the base fitness there and you kind of feel comfortable doing 6 hour rides and stuff like that without any like noticeable injuries, then all you really need is just a good state of mind to push on through for that, for a long ride like that. I'm coming to all the way from Mar I can't pronounce that word, but yeah, please hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. We'll get this together. Sounds good, dude. I'll hit you up. I want to do a 24-hour ride before the end of the year. Sick, sick. We'll make it happen. How much is a ticket from New York to Hawaii? Well, Google knows best. But New York to Hawaii, I believe it's about $350 one way, maybe around $700 round trip. I did cycle structured coaching from early on. I actually never had a coach. Um, yeah, literally never had a coach. There was a few mentors in my journey at a bike shop where like the owner would get us on the trainers and we'd do Zwift. You know, when Zwift came out like a few years back, I don't know when Zwift really came out. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. We started getting on it, and he would just throw in a couple workouts, and I'm like, whoa. And that was the first time me actually doing structured workouts. But anyway, I started cycling because I needed a bike to commute back and forth to my job when I was living in Massachusetts, chefing. And I moved away from my friends, and I didn't have that many friends in Massachusetts. And cycling was something I could just go and get on my bike and go do. Where some sports like skateboarding and stuff, you kind of need like a lot of hype when you want to get gnarly. But cycling and running and stuff like that, it's like literally you get out your door, you go do the activity, an instant rush of dopamine, right? Like an instant dopamine hit, and it's like the best feelings ever. So yeah, started commuting and then got brought up, you know, to a more like fitness. How did I say it? Then I got brought up by this local bike shop in Massachusetts and more of like, you know, a road cycling specific type of riding, aside from commuting. So like I just got on some group rides, like they just kept helping me upgrade my gear, like the shoes, you know, the kit, the bike, pedals, all that stuff. They just help bring me up, and I uh, I was also watching a lot of Durian Rider videos at the time. He definitely helped me a lot with my upcoming, like, you know, growing up as a cyclist. Um, but never had a coach. Um, I actually just learned the hard way, really. I wish I did have a coach at the beginning stages. I would have saved quite a bit of time. I just know, but it was good too. You know, I enjoyed myself, and that was the most important part. But if you're looking to get fit quick, it's good to have someone overlooking what you're doing and creating training plans for you, because when you start out, you make the big mistake of training too hard on the hard days and go. I mean, no, that's not a mistake. You want to go hard on the hard days. You make the mistake of going too hard on your easy days and too easy on your hard days, and just stuff like that. But I recommend a coach, not because I am a coach, but I see how people actually get a huge benefit out of it and actually keep them riding long term. Yes, a video of an epic long ride would be great content. Hell yeah, I'm gonna vlog that ride around the Big Island when I do it. How's it with running? Haven't seen any updates lately from you. All good? Yeah, I'm feeling pretty healthy. I'm still recovering from a bruised rib or a cracked rib or whatever it is. I kind of ate it 2 months ago on the canyon, and kind of yeah, it still hurts a little bit. And when I run down hills, it's kind of a lot of impact. But aside from that, I was running the other day, and I was running uphill, and it was good. Love your videos. A hug from Portugal. Thank you. So, do you do any USAC races, crits, road race, etc.? If so, what category are you? Um, so here's the deal. I believe I'm just category 5. The races I've done are all on the Big Island or all on the Hawaii Islands. And I don't know if we even like consider what grades we are, because this is kind of just, it's just a bunch of mixed categories in one race. It's kind of that these races are kind of that small that that's how it is. And And yeah, I've only done epic long uphill bike races. So on Maui, cycle the sun and see the stars here on the Big Island twice. Thanks for the answer. That's pretty inspiring. Glad you didn't get early injuries. Yeah, I've been really fortunate with the running thing. Fortunately, you know, I've been exposed to the idea and felt like Harley during Ryder. Got to give him credit for this, but he just always kept on saying like, "You're gonna get injured. You're gonna get injured." So I always like looked after myself and really understand that like, oh shit, this pain, this unnatural pain I'm feeling in my knee or my ankle and my calf, like you don't want to keep putting pressure on that. So as soon as like I felt too much pain, I'd end the workout. Hello, what are your views on Jesus Christ as the only true God and creator of heaven and earth? And have you considered going to church? Um, haven't considered going to church. Yeah, I'm not religious. That's really my response to that. What other languages do you, and I respect anyone who is, but yeah, I don't even, doesn't really come past my mind too much, but I feel like I believe that there's a higher power than us. I do believe the universe is kind of, when we're working with it, I feel like it's kind of working with us. I do feel like there's a higher power, and I tend to call it the universe. What other languages do you speak? I speak Lithuanian. I did cycle the sun a couple years back. Was an amazing experience. Cool, man. So you've been to Hawaii. That's good. That's really good. Hawaii's got some epic climbs, huh? Two on the Big Island, one on Maui, all like 10,000 feet plus. Hawaii's got some great climbing. If two islands have, peaks that high, just imagine how many more micro climbs there are around them. It's a real special place here. Only been to Maui. Nice, nice. What else can I talk about? I think I think the importance of a positive state of mind and good mentality. One thing I talked about in a video I'm soon going to release is understanding that there's more to us than just our thoughts. I feel like there's also a consciousness observer of the thoughts, and I like to consider that our spirit. And I feel that our minds typically create our realities most of the time, and it's the way we function. Sometimes we need to program our brains to, or reprogram, or condition them to think positively to create a better reality. So I'm gonna get real spiritual just randomly here, just to create content. But these little things like accomplishing, like working from home and living in Hawaii, and all the things that I've accomplished in my life. I feel like if you don't know what I've accomplished in my life, read the last three posts on my Instagram story to get to know me better, of why I speak the way I do. Like I feel like I've accomplished something because I do feel like I have. I've taken many risks in my life. So read those last three posts. But I feel like these little accomplishments that I've made have made me realize that these things like do make you happy, gives you more freedom in certain ways. But ultimately, what's going to make you the happiest is purposeful work and a positive state of mind, and mostly a positive state of mind. Like, to be honest, like I've never really had bad depression or suicidal thoughts, but I have here in Hawaii more than any other places. And I say that loosely. I've mentioned this a few other times on different platforms, but signing out. Okay, see you, man. Kranik. Um, but yeah, like I just want to let you know that just work on your mindset a lot. And I think the best thing we can do is focus on the positive, have the positive create our reality, and catch the negative thoughts and tell yourself the truth. So work on that mindset. Tried riding around the West Loop. That is so hard. Huh. In Maui, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've done that. Cyclists from Serbia here. Only hills everywhere around my area. You're a lucky man. Hills are beautiful. What supplement works best for you? What supplement works best for you? I don't know if the supplements work. I just feel like I take them because people say that I should take them. But I'm gonna get a blood test soon. I take B12. So much up and down. What are your places you've traveled? Big Island of Hawaii. That is my favorite place. How's it living with roommates? Do they get on your nerves? Not really. They're just super cool people. Um, and you try to have empathy and understand that like you signed up for this. Like this is part of living with roommates. Yeah. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. I feel like the content is more genuine, more pure when you guys ask the questions. What else can I talk about? Do you have any tips for breathing on the bike? Tips for breathing on the bike. I always get it's always a puzzling question for me, but obviously just breathe as you would normally. And if you're going hard or if you're just running or cycling in general, I like to just try to keep the mouth open. I don't really like focus on long breaths, or short breaths specifically, but maybe there's a benefit. Maybe that's why people keep asking me questions like that. To me, I'm just like, you just breathe as, you know, it's like your legs control your breathing. It's like, how hard do you want to go? And, your then your breath will correlate to that. Um, so I hope that helps, but just keep that mouth open. Fast and shallow or deep and long. Right. I think it's based on preference. I tend to be on the deep and long side of things when I'm breathing. I feel like I'm more connected and I feel a little bit more chill when I breathe deep. But sometimes it's like deep and fast when you're going full gas. You're trying to literally just uptake as much oxygen you possibly can. Do you meditate? Yeah, I meditate every morning pretty much for 10 minutes. My routine tends to be I wake up, do not touch that phone, do not touch that phone, do not touch that phone. Go brush your teeth and then go meditate while you're drinking. Yeah, well, yeah, I would grab some water and then walk over to a meditation spot and meditate um, for 10 minutes. And, I used to, when I first started meditating, I used to use that app. What's that app called? Headspace. I used to use Headspace that would do guided meditation. Um, yeah, guided meditation memos. Well, maybe it's not called a memo, but just like sound, someone's talking literally on a phone, and sorry guys, my mind's going crazy. Yeah, Headspace has guided meditation, and I used that when I began. But when I sit down for 10 minutes, I just kind of do my own thing, and I try to have and like I try to visualize on an intention for the day. Like this morning was just be focused, create and produce content. And I sit down and I just, you know, I try to observe as much as I can, like listen to the breath, listen to my surroundings, and just try to be an observer for 10 minutes, even though it's super hard and the thoughts always tend to catch you and have you start like drifting on with them. But try to catch yourself when you start drifting off with those thoughts. But try to be the observer. Try to be in that quiet place that lies within you. How are you able to dial in your saddle, height, tilt, forward, backward, so you have minimal pressure other than on sit bones? I can't imagine a 100-mile ride with my current setup. Well, a bike fit. A bike fit's good for that. They will dial that in for you. I'd recommend going to your local bike shop, paying no more than $100. I would recommend, and um, they will dial in like your knee to cleat alignment. So your knee is directly over the cleat when it's when your legs kind of at like a 90-degree angle, and that's gonna dial in that. And sometimes it'll be pushing the saddle forward and backwards and tilting it, um, complementary to where you're sitting on the saddle. So just basically, essentially a bike fit. And then you're just feeling for sit bones when you're riding, and just if you're there, if you feel like your saddle is positioned so where you're sitting on your sit bones, then you can go ahead with the process of making sure your knee is directly below your cleat position. And that's what a bike fit's for. It's a lot easier when someone's helping you out to do that. Keep that mouth open, deep and fast. Did I miss something? Do you spend time at altitude? How do you handle 10,000 feet in a race? Um, it's difficult. You definitely have a lack of oxygen there. But it's part of the game. And I don't spend a lot of time in altitude unless I'm just cycling up a big mountain. Um, but it's always good training when you get up there. I feel like even though there's science behind, like for me personally, like after a ride up in altitude, I tend to come back feeling stronger and feeling faster. Feel like I can uptake more oxygen. You should do some scuba diving. It's fun. Right on. Hey, Gitas from Colombia, your videos are amazing. Thank you, Laura. Try to make more of them. Heard that you've been having some trouble mood depression. Have you tried ashwagandha? No, I haven't tried ashwagandha. Um, I don't know. I think mood and depression is like a situational thing and a mindset thing. I don't want to rely on a substance to cure that. I feel like that's within me to solve. Gitas, thanks for the tips. Good luck with everything, and I'll keep watching your videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm working on my experience at the Woodstock Fruit Festival video. How are you feeling about the change you made in your job and where you're living? I feel good. I feel good. I feel like it's an important part of my journey. I'm learning that I'm struggling with my productivity levels, not having like a forced schedule, forced hours to work. So I'm learning how to be disciplined in this new way of life, of working from home, working on your own terms. Like it sounds super fancy, but sometimes, man, it's like you get too comfortable sometimes, and you have too much freedom. And sometimes, like, felt more productive when I had a day job because I had to be in work at these certain times, and it's like before or after work, you like want to get the thing you love doing in. So it's almost like this nice balance. But I'm trying to get a grasp of work ethic in this new way of lifestyle. My power has improved big time since I gave up an all raw diet. Do you feel the same? Do you feel the same? Um, Dude, I feel like, to be honest, I feel like my best ever power was eating 100% raw food diet. When I hit 352 watts, yeah, when I hit 352 watts for 20 minutes, 333 watts for an FTP, I'm pretty sure I was eating fully raw, like that whole week of training. Yeah, dude, I was like binging out there and I couldn't sustain it like 100% every day, but like I'm pretty sure I was 100% raw the day I did that. So it's interesting, right? It's very, very interesting. That's why I'm like not willing to let go and say fully raw is not like the best for performance. It's something I still am trying to experiment with. And in this upcoming video, my experience at Woodstock Fruit Festival, I got Michael Arnstein to chime in. I was trying to really pick his brain, and yeah, he's hit some of his best PRs in the marathon, eating a 100% fruit-based diet, 100% raw diet, and it makes me think about it. It's like, it really does. It's just important to eat enough food. It's just we tend not to eat enough food. So I asked him like specific questions. Do you feel stronger, like for instance, eating 4,000 calories of cooked vegan food compared to 4,000 calories of raw vegan food. Fruit, predominantly fruit. It's like fruit all the way. So it's like it does make sense when you get enough calories. It's just kind of hard work to eat that much fruit. Have you ever thought about being a chef for roommates and making extra money for it or less of rent? Nah. Yeah, I don't really want to make my money chefing anymore. I like making my money in the things that challenge me. Chefing no longer really challenges me that much, and it's not something I'm super passionate about. What are you doing for the work at the moment? Still a chef? No, I create videos and I coach cyclists. That's how I make my income. I find that running improves big time on fully raw, but my cycling performance goes down. I've kind of found a similar experience, and I'm not really sure why. I feel like when you're cycling, you tend up doing more volume and you have to eat more food. Um, because cycling, you could just be on the bike forever and you're burning tons of calories, and you kind of tend to undereat on raw. But when you're running, you tend to do a lower volume because your legs can only take so much impact. And then, and then, and that all that impact, I feel like eating a fruit-based diet. I found my recovery to be really good eating a fruit-based diet. I found it to be really, really good. Like when I'm at Woodstock and I'm doing a lot of running training, I'm like less sore than I ever am. Um, when I'm eating a fruit-based diet, just how it is. It's pretty awesome. And so I'm not like willing to like let that go. But right now I feel really good eating cooked food. Have you ever thought of, yeah, okay, I read that one. Okay, I read all of them. Anyway, guys, how do you deal with resistance? I mean, when you're not in mood and don't want to go for a ride. When you're having resistance to going outside and cycling, how do I deal with that? I try to keep in perspective of what my goals are and how I'm gonna feel after the workout. So I personally try to be in the situation where I have the least amount of resistance when I'm working out or when I'm about to go work out, and that means like I'm excited to. It's gonna be fun, but not always is that the case, especially when you're training for an event or a goal or something like that. And some days you just have to get on the bike and grind it out. Um, and what tries to what keeps me motivated me in those situations, that like that end goal and understanding that like you're going to become a stronger person when you break through that barrier, break through that resistance. Um, and it's always a good opportunity for personal growth to just make that workout happen. So I try to keep that in perspective and understand that like, if you're like really tired, it's probably a good day for a recovery ride. So just go spin the legs easy. You'll be fresher tomorrow and come back and launch it. So, and understand you always tend to feel better after the workouts unless you're like really needed a rest day. Kona Ironman. I'm gonna go and watch. It's next month. I'm stoked. How do you get those power graphics on your videos? What devices do you use on the bike? Yeah, so good question. So the device I use on my bike is the GoPro Hero 6, and I capture the footage, right? And then to overlay the power graphics, I use Garmin Verb Edit. It's a app you can easily download. Um, I think I downloaded it from Google Docs, but I feel like Garmin offers it. And so then I download the application. It's kind of like a little editing software for GoPro footage, and then I overlay, and then I get the data from the ride like via Strava or Garmin Connect, and I take that data into the editing software and overlay it with the footage, and then kind of sync the power. So that's how I do that. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any more questions. Gonna be on for another 15 minutes. Wish I had some water next to me. It's hot here. I'm overweight and trying to lose weight and love cycling, but I've run into some issues with riding on a saddle and getting numb from riding. Is that normal? It can be it's common. That's a common symptom I've heard about riding in the saddle on a bike. Um, the best thing, Isaiah, what's up, bro? Thanks so much for coming. The thing that I've noticed about the cycling, it's some people when you're overweight, I know it's hard to get out of the saddle and dance a little bit. Maybe on the downhills, like just get out of the saddle for a little bit when you're coasting. Like find every little possible moment to get out of the saddle. Every uphill, like dance and lower the cadence and dance out of the saddle. Like when you're coasting down a hill, like just lift your butt off the chair and relieve pressure that way. If that's still not helping, and I'm like constantly getting out of the saddle, like literally, it's not like every 20 minutes, it's literally like every 5 minutes when I'm climbing, I'm getting out of the saddle for a little bit, for like 30 seconds to a minute. So, and I don't like sprint when I'm out of the saddle. Like people would say, like, oh, that's kind of hard, but I literally keep the wattage the same, the pace the same, but I just increase the resistance and I dance a little bit. It's a nice way to stretch the legs and utilize the muscle groups in a different way. So it leads to overall comfort. And then, changing your saddle and getting a bike fit is the other things I would recommend doing if that still doesn't help you out. Was gonna post link to Verb Edit, but can't post links. LOL. Oh, I can post links. Maybe I should do it. Thank you, Glycogen Cycling, for looking out, Doug. Appreciate that. I'm training to do an Ironman in the future, but I'm not going at running. You got any tips? I'm not good at running. Got any tips? Hell yeah, man. I'm training to do an Ironman as well. Any tips about running? So start slow. You know, understand that like Isaiah, I think you're like 16. You got plenty of time. Like, do not rush the running process. I started running when I was like 18. Literally, I could only run like a mile at the time. So build up slowly. Make sure you're constantly checking in with your legs, with your knees, with your joints to make sure there's no like little strains or pains that can lead to injury. Of course, like normal fatigue of the muscle is common, but when you start feeling something unusual, you slow down or you just stop the workout completely. And it's like kind of, maybe just walk the rest of the way home. So just make sure you don't get injured in the beginning stage of running. That's it can be very common, and I've even gotten close to getting injured when I was training for my marathon. Use the bike to constantly cross train with. Get a suitable pair of shoes that you. I wouldn't worry about shoes, right? To be honest, when you're starting out, just start running. Tips for my first club ride. Oh yeah, lots of tips. You're riding a group for the first time, my guy. Um, so depending on what the pace line is, whether it's double or it's single, maybe towards, it depends how they're going, but I guess like few tips that I can just point out right away without giving you the whole summary of how to ride in a group, which is a good, it's a good YouTube video search, is like when you're sitting behind someone's wheel, try not to overlap the wheel. If they like get out of the saddle and you're overlapping the wheel, they'll like knock your front wheel. And once that front wheel hits contact with anything that makes it turn out of whack, then you're gonna go down. You're gonna hit the deck. So don't overlap the wheels. Yeah, so don't overlap the wheels and um, point out like things in the road when you're riding it, and try to not make it like super abrupt for the riders behind you when you're pulling. Um, when you're like going around a pothole, don't like go around a pothole last minute. Be like, oh, I see a pothole, like like a few, like 50 feet in front of me or 100 feet in front of me, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna point it out way early, and I'm gonna casually go around instead of like going around it abruptly, which is might make them run into it quicker. So that's a few tips, but definitely a good YouTube video to search. Do you like Chiang Mai when you went a while ago? Do you recommend traveling there? Chiang Mai is legit. Cheap living, cheap food. I think it feels a little bit polluted to live in the city, but I would try to live away from the city. But great cycling, many mountains. It's a great place to live, I would say, 100%. Jose, maybe some of the time, but notice how it has brought all of us together right now. Cycling is a solitary sport. Oh, I even missed that one. Well, it can be whatever you want it to be. In the past, in the past, you talked about body image issues. Where are you at with that? Is it getting better? Do you find you're too weight conscious? Yeah, it can be easy to be weight conscious when you're trying to be an athlete or like, you know, an athlete YouTuber. Like, yeah, like you're gonna consider the way you look a lot. Anyone does that's gonna get in the camera or get get in front of a camera essential. But as long as like I'm just trying to keep in perspective that it's just like it's not about how I look. At the end of the day, I want to be known for like being a good athlete, not because I look good. Like I don't want my success based on that. And and right now, like eating the way I am is keeping me at a really like good weight. I'm really happy with it, and it's not leading to any like eating disorder tendencies where I'm binging out or I'm having to fast. Like just eating when I care for, and it's like cooked food 3 meals a day, and I feel really good about it. But I feel like I've always had like body weight issues. I feel like I've always kind of been self conscious about it. Just growing up in high school, like always had these big legs that I never really liked. But now I'm like starting to like them because it's like I feel like I feel like girls like that. Girls like when you have size on you. So I'm understanding that you just gotta love who you are and understand that some people actually like think that's attractive. Hi, hey Care Bear TV. Me and Sean ride almost every other Saturday, and we talked about you, how nice you are. Did you like Crank Stuff? Yeah, Crank Stuff was legit. Um, it all tastes good. It all tastes good, and it's fueling me properly. I thought electrolyte hydration mix was supposed to like hydrate me quicker, but actually just plain water does. But what the hydration mix just gives you extra glucose and electrolytes to replenish, which is super sweet. Do you like Taylor Swift? No. I gotta head out, but great stream, dude. Thanks so much, man. Um, do what you need to do. What do you think about your Canyon? Which model is it, and would you recommend it? Just started riding. When should I invest in a solid bike? So my bike's back there. I hope you can see it, but that is a Canyon Ultimate um, SLX 9.0. You'll see it on the website when you look at the Ultimates, and it's super legit. I'm totally into it. It's a $5,000 bike. It's a lot of money. I don't recommend that if you're buying your first ever road bike. Um, but it depends where. So it all depends where you're riding. Any bike really could work, whether it's for a first bike. Like I would spend like $1,200 to $1,500, $1,200 or $1,500 if you're like if you know you're gonna like it and you've had like a shitty commuter bike to mess around with and you're like, oh, I really like this and I could get into it, then I would spend like $1,200 to $1,500 on a bike. I'd get something as little as Shimano 105 11-speed group set. If it's hilly in your area, keep an eye out for 50-34 compact crank and a 32 in the back. That is the preferred gearing. And then if it's rainy and hilly in your area or it gets cold, there's wet conditions, get a bike with disc brakes. If it's dry and flat, rim brakes are totally okay. So that would be my best advice on a solid bike, especially if it's like one of your first ones. And Canyon's so good. There's a Canyon has like a $2,500 bike. It's carbon. It's got disc brakes. It's like it's such a bargain for the. It's such a good bike for its price. It's amazing. My friend is 5'8", 180 pounds, doesn't care about weight, and is doing really well on the bike. I wish I could be like him and not care so much about weight. Well, you can be, and to be honest, like it depends what your goal is. If your goal is to look good and look lean, then you might have to sacrifice performance. To be honest, but you know, even this pro triathlete Lionel Sanders, like he kind of had an issue of restricting his calories, and he ran into some trouble with his performance. And it's like you do have to eat the food. You have to eat a lot of food to perform well on the bike. And just don't worry about losing weight by how much food you're eating. I must say, worry about losing weight by the fitness you're doing. So lose weight by doing more training, not by eating less. If you want if you want the best results for your body image and for performance. But again, like it's not worth obsessing about it. It's just like a waste of time. It's stressful. Um, and I feel like it just ends up to an unhealthy body. Yeah, it's not worth obsessing about your weight. Will you ever get a TT bike? I will one of these days. I just can't afford one. I'm gonna end up putting aero bars on the Canyon Ultimate. Have you tried ketosis? No, I haven't really. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of interested. I just don't know if I want to fuck my diet anymore. I always tend to like try to blame my life and my energy levels all on my diet. But I think there's just so much more to it. So it's like I just want to be consistent right now. And I know carbs are for the win when it comes to endurance sport. Hi Gitas. Wow, nice to see you live streaming. I saw your Canada deportation video. Sorry that happened. I never tell too much at the border. Try again next year. We have a gorgeous country. Yeah, it's no worries. Yeah, I was just unaware. I was unaware that I had to keep it so hush hush, and I totally forgot about work permits and stuff. I just literally haven't traveled to different countries before. Thinking about traveling to Canada, I'm like, oh, what can go wrong? It's just like it's our neighbor. But yeah, next time I'll know better. Do you watch other cycling channels? I watch you and the Vegan Cyclist, but always looking for more. Yeah, because me and Vegan Cyclists aren't making enough videos. Me and Vegan Cyclists gotta step it up. Um, yeah, he's like my other channel that I watch. Like literally, there is not that many other cycling YouTube channels or vegan cycling YouTube channels that I like that produce high quality vlogs. Like I watch Vegan Cyclist, like he's up there. Um, any other ones that I would recommend? I would check out some non-vegan cycling channels. Like if you really like Cycling Maven, and Cycling Cam make vlogs and they're not too bad. I might do 70.3 Honu this year. Is that going to be your triathlon debut? Yeah, it will be. I'm stoked. Hey Tim, how are you? Thanks for joining the live chat. It's towards the end now, but I'm still happy to answer a few more questions. I like to keep these things going for about an hour, and for this, I'll try to get to some editing. So feel free to put in the last of your questions. I come from a triathlon background. In the beginning of the summer, I set a goal to ride at least 100 miles per week. Cycling is now my favorite. I want to try crit racing next year. Cycling is a lot of fun. Good for you. Totally support you in wanting to go all in on cycling. VC edits are awesome and doesn't preach the carb the fuck up message. Yeah, VC's doing it well. He's putting a lot of effort into his videos. People don't realize like training is hard on its own, guys. Like going out and riding the bike and training hard is like hard on its own. Imagine trying to like formulate like a video around the whole thing. It's extremely taxing, and I think that's why me and VC struggle a little bit with getting more content out. I mean, VC can speak for himself. I know he's got a job, he's got a family, but to make these kind of videos that we're making are pretty taxing. What type of training would you would you recommend for a beginner crit racer? What type of training for a beginner crit racer? Um, a lot of intensity work. Um, you know, I'd recommend about 8 to 10 hours a week of training. I would recommend 3 of those days after a base phase. After a base phase of just building up a foundation for your fitness, strengthening the muscle groups, just getting the legs turning over. After that, I'd be like 8 to 10 hours of training volume. 3 days that week I would do intensity stuff. I would do threshold, I would do VO2 max, and all out sprint work. That's what I would do. I would stick in those 3 zones on the high intensity stuff. I wouldn't mess around too much with tempo. I'd mess around with a lot of explosive stuff, high end power. Will you ever make merch? Yeah, I'll make merch one day. Keep up the good work, Gitas. Thank you. Gitas, have you done any triathlons? No. Looking to do one June 2019. That's a lot. It is. It is. How tall are you and how much do you weigh? I'm 5'11". Pretty sure I weigh like 160 pounds right now. 155 or 160. But yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap this live chat up. If you have any quick questions, feel free to send them my way. But if you do want to catch up with this whole live chat, I'm going to post it on Patreon. If you support my content, support my videos, you want to see keep going and making more, there is a thing there on Patreon where you can support me. This whole live chat will be posted on with the $10 a month reward. So thank you guys for the support. If you do end up donating there, no stress if you can't, and I'll make more videos for you guys ASAP. Check out my other YouTube channel. I just uploaded a video on it. Love the Climb Talk, or search Vegan Talks. Vegan Talks on YouTube. You'll find it. More videos there too. Thanks so much for everyone coming. 40 viewers to end off. That's the most I've ever had here. So thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope to connect more with you. And I'm here online for you. I'm here to help you out in some way that I possibly can. So, bye guys. Aloha.